Antonio Fuoco in the first sector alone. Now, that might be because Antonio is very happy to drive well within himself, or it might be that the BMW is on one last push in the second sector of the lap. Antonio Fuoco is fractionally faster, so you win a bit, you lose a bit over the course of a long lap. 6.2 kilometres long, don't forget the gear circuit here, and the nature of the corners obviously is going to favour some cars at certain parts and others elsewhere. Joel Eriksson then running in fourth place in the Audi, so one better than he achieved in that qualifying race yesterday. Of course, we lost Alessio Piccirillo from third, and we lost Aaron Chendugan from sixth on the grid on that first lap, as Marciello now realises that this is going to be another year where a Macau GT Cup win ain't going to go his way.
It's looking a little bit less likely with every lap that goes by, because they are competing for second place on the podium, third place on the podium. They've closed right up once again, haven't they? Around Donna Maria they go, the BMW, the Porsche, then a bit of a gap this time for the Audi. That BMW all of a sudden looks a bit more nervous to me. It looks as though it was slightly twitchy coming out of Moorish and again off Donna Maria, and I just wonder now whether, as he's had to be defending, Raffaele Marciello's tyres are not quite as good as they were. Certainly for a couple of three corners it looks a little bit more edgy, that car, and you need to be totally confident in it to attack around here. So Marciello comes off Fisherman's. There is Fuoco in the distance, having again been able to build the gap. In fact, he may have lost out in that first sector, but the balance of the lap is commanded by him. He goes through now with 2 to go. There's Marciello ahead of Heinrich, and that last lap for Lello was a 2:17.4. Heinrich is quicker and Eriksson quicker than the pair. Yeah, so the gap extends to almost 4.4 seconds. So a really good lap there by Antonio Fuoco over Raffaele Marciello in second place. I think you're right. I don't think the BMW quite has the pace that once it had. The Ferrari has 2:16.581 that last lap for the Ferrari. You know, that BMW that hasn't got the pace, it's just done the absolute best first sector. So I'll take it all back about the tyres. They're absolutely wonderful, the Pirelli things. They'll last until the very end. And out of nowhere, Marciello has managed to go 8/10 quicker, nearly 8/10 in a sector alone than Fuoco. Yeah, the BMW and Raffaele Marciello go together hand in hand on sector 1. Another overall best in the first sector for Raffaele Marciello. But in fairness, if you've got a car that favours one particular part of the circuit, you have to make the most of it, don't you? Yeah, totally. Marciello then is hard at work, having moved 2 years ago from Mercedes AMG to BMW, and he's not going to claw back 4.3 seconds in 2 laps, even if it's a tremendous charge that he has, but he wants to hang on to that second place, and so far so good. Laurin Heinrich will go to bed tonight with a red and white BMW boot lid engraved upon his eyelids, because that's what he has been staring at race long. This is Marciello's view up towards Moorish. Climb the hill, early lift, slow the car down, narrow exit to the corner. Heinrich Eriksson behind, and there's going to be one more lap to run at the end of this. But Antonio Fuoco is now pretty much assured of being the winner of the 2025 Macau GT Cup. The FIA GT World Cup will go to Ferrari, it seems, for the first time. Heading down from the Melco hairpin as second, third, fourth and fifth all thread their way around the hairpin, and the Ferrari has been exceptional on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday and now on Sunday. What's the Porsche got planned for the final laps, as we have now 14 laps completed in this 16-lap race for the Macau GT Cup, the FIA GT World Cup. Still the same order, the BMW, nothing is given. The Porsche just behind, the Audi just behind as well. We are getting towards the very closing stages of this race. 4.5 seconds the advantage for Antonio Fuoco in the Ferrari at the front of the field. So the leaders go through onto the last lap. There is Raffaele Marciello going through Mandarin, having one last push. He's not going to catch the leader, but he does want to shake off Heinrich. Down they come then towards the right-hander of Lisboa. And again, Marciello does an absolute best in the first sector. And again, Eriksson closes up onto the back of Heinrich. That could possibly change before the end, but Eriksson would have to be really brave at Fisherman's. But Antonio Fuoco has exorcised the demons from last year. He has righted the wrongs, if you like, after the contact between him and Raffaele Marciello that allowed Mauro Engel through to win.
And this year, Antonio Fuoco, who has just become part of the Ferrari furniture, and like a USB, you plug him in and he delivers. Whether it's in a car in the WEC or a GT3 spec car, he is now one of the, if not the, Ferrari star driver. He makes his way downhill for the last time. Antonio Fuoco is beckoning now towards the checkered flag and a race win.
Redemption here at Macau, and making up for 2024, the Ferrari and Antonio Fuoco. Super stuff. This has been an excellent, not just race, but an excellent 4 days for Antonio and also for Ferrari as well. Beautiful. The car looks so neatly planted around the streets of Macau. And around the left-hander, the long left-hander, Donna Maria, up towards the Melco hairpin for the final time. And he's been able to pick his lines, hasn't he? Yep. He got early on a gap after the safety car. He was very quickly able to get a lap. A gap over second place Raffaele Marciello, who's rather got his hands full of keeping the Porsche behind in second place, and that has been just perfect for the Italian. You can pick your lines, you can show off the car to its very best, and he has done exactly that. Super drive, super 4 days for Antonio Fuoco.
Fuoco's Ferrari wins a first FIA GT Cup victory for Ferrari as Antonio Fuoco dominates the Macau GT Cup from Raffaele Marciello, Laurin Heinrich, Joel Eriksson and Ye Yifei in 5th place. And a dominant display as Sheldon van der Linde comes through to be 6th in the BMW. Christopher Haase will take 7th in his Audi. Andy Deng is going to be 8th. Lawrence Vantor 9th in his kind of 6 out of 10 Porsche after its accident on Thursday. Benji Goethe will round out the top 10, and the other finisher is Adley Fong. But Antonio Fuoco came, saw, conquered, got the T-shirt, and is going to be a delighted man when he stands on that podium.
That's a Ferrari roof you're standing on. I'm sure it will pop out, but that's the iconic picture, and also the national flag as well, with the Ferrari, the prancing horse in the middle. Hold it up high and make the most of this moment. It's a glorious day for Ferrari at Macau, and a glorious day for Antonio Fuoco as well. The joy, the emotion.
Ferrari just keep making history, and you've done it again. Antonio, what a drive.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last 2 weeks has been really unbelievable. I think it's like dreaming. I want to thank the guy because I think coming here after last year was tough, but at the end with the perfect weekend, I think we can never ask for something better than this. I'm just so happy for me, for the team, for everyone. I mean, we really deserve this.
Perfect from beginning to end, and what a way to finish your season personally as well, Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I said, it's been really intensive season, but I think it's something that we will remember for many years.
Great job, and I know you've made Ferrari very proud.
Well done, Antonio Fuoco. And Antonio Fuoco then, more photographs required. And the result thus, Antonio Fuoco ahead of Raffaele Marciello, Laurin Heinrich to round out the podium ahead of Joel Eriksson and then Ye Yifei. Sheldon van der Linde up to 6th from Christopher Haase and Andy Deng. Lawrence Vanthorn 9th, Benjamin Goethe 10th. And the Audi of Adley Fong brought Cinnamoroll home in 11th. We lost Eduardo Mortara, we lost Alessio Picariello on the first lap, as we lost Owen Schenguven and Luca Engschler and Dorian Boccolacci. So some big names went out with those 2 incidents in the first 3 corners. Had they survived, might have been a very different type of race. But I think one thing was always pretty much guaranteed, and that was that Antonio Fuoco was going to take some stopping.
And the winner is number 50, Antonio Fuoco from Italy. Congratulations. And also we would like to invite the winning manufacturer representative, Ferrari, Mr. Alizio Tonini, the endurance performance specialist.
Congratulations then to Laurin Heinrich for 3rd place, Raffaele Marciello 2nd, and Antonio Fuoco takes a first FIA GT World Cup win. The Macau GT Cup falls to Ferrari and Antonio Fuoco at the end of a dominant display here on the streets of Macau.